This is a $0 game and this is a $100 game, which is a huge sum of money to spend on a game. And I want to show you the difference between this $100 game and this $0 game and also everything in between. And the reason I want to show you this is because a lot of people are afraid of the extraction genre and have put it aside without even giving it a try. And I want to show you games that you can enjoy as a casual as well as a hardcore gamer by rating these games on 3 metrics: fun, price to quality, and optimization. And by the end of the video, you're gonna fall in love with the top 2 games. So let's start with a $0 game. Dark and Darker. This game randomly dropped on Steam in early access and instantly blew up, with no marketing needed. It was a unique spin on the extraction genre, and every single person, including me, loved the game. So I gave it a fun rating of 8 out of 10, because this is the only dungeon crawler FPS PvPvE game that I have ever played. If you're not aware of what Dark and Darker is, let me explain. Dark and Darker is a hardcore PvPvE extraction game in which you explore and loot dungeons either alone or with your friends. You will come across every type of fantasy monsters like werewolves, gargoyles, slimes, skeletons, hollow knights, and many others, including real-life players. And your goal is to loot as much treasure as you can from these dungeons while slaying or dodging these enemies, and eventually escape so that you can level up your characters and come back even stronger. This game loop is what most extraction games are like, and it's super addicting because no one match is like the other, and it creates really tense life and death situations that lots of gamers are eager to experience. On top of being a fantasy FPS, this game is based in the medieval era, so most of the characters have weapons from that era like swords, halberds, and huge war axes. You can also play as magic using characters like mages, scholars, and warlords. And all of these things combined in one single world is really fun and chaotic. So it deserves a rating of 8 out of 10. But somewhere where it doesn't deserve a good rating is price to quality, which is sadly a 3 out of 10. I know this score is insanely low for a free game, but I believe most people that have played the game will agree with me. The game is fun, yes, but only if you can ignore 1,000 other issues that come with it. First of all, you can only create one single character in the free version and don't have access to 1 or 2 game modes. And on top of that, you're not allowed to take your higher tier gear that you looted back into a dungeon on the free version. But also, there's a whole marketplace to trade with other players that is only accessible if you buy the full version, which is $30. I can't believe that price. This is like selling flavored water for $30. The UI in this game is absolutely abysmal, and this is the first time I've used this word in my life. They have a special Discord night to help you navigate their menus. It's that bad. A game can have amazing gameplay, but if the experience before getting to that gameplay is dog shit, people are gonna start hating on it. If you go to Steam and watch the recent reviews, you're gonna see so many angry people, which I kinda agree with. If you've never played this game and really like the idea of the game, I really suggest coming in with high patience levels. The game is fun, you just gotta cross some hurdles to get to that fun. And talking about hurdles, a major hurdle in games nowadays is optimization, which thankfully Dark and Darker has a bit figured out. So I gave it a 7 out of 10 for optimization. The graphics are not that demanding and you can run it on most PCs, even low-end ones. It has a minimum required GPU as a 1060, which is fairly old now, and it's a very acceptable requirement. But if you have a GPU below that, you should probably stick to indie games. And one indie game that you should absolutely give it a try is Hole. This one actually hooked me by surprise. Hole is a single-player indie extraction shooter that is great for people wanting to get into this genre. If you have never played an extraction game in your life, but have always wanted to experience the thrill without learning a bajillion mechanics, this game is for you. And for that, I gave it a fun rating of 7 out of 10. This game doesn't go too hard into realism, but keeps it hardcore enough so that people have fun and don't find it too easy. At first, I was a bit skeptical if a single player game in this genre would be able to give me a similar experience to what I get in multiplayer, but somehow, this game captures that feeling. It's very successful in creating that tense atmosphere, even when you're alone. Fighting against the AI felt really simple at the start, but the game increases the difficulty the longer you stay in the match. And you can see that by the number on the bottom right. Enemies start spawning more often, they have better guns to shoot you down, and have tankier armor to take on more of your gunshots. So you're probably thinking that if this difficulty keeps going up, you're kind of fucked. Well, if you're not doing missions, you just might be. The game has in-world objectives for you to complete that give you rewards to either level up your hideout or your gear. The more you play and the more missions you complete, the easier it will be for you to take on higher level enemies and get more stuff done in a single match. All of this is really nicely spaced out to keep you hooked to the game for 10-ish hours easily. Now, let's talk about price to quality. It's a 7 out of 10. There are a total of 3 maps that you can unlock, which takes around 2-3 hours according to the creator, which I think is pretty accurate because I managed to unlock the second map and I'm currently doing the quest to unlock the third with 2.5 hours in the game. The gunplay and aesthetic feel really nice, but the movement is a bit janky, which is understandable in an indie game. What it lacks though is the incentive to play for experienced players. I spent a good amount of time, 1500 plus hours, playing extraction shooters. So I'm pretty good at navigating these games. And once I figured out how the guns and the movement works, it started to get a bit too easy. And after certain waves, it got a bit too hard. So I was stuck in the middle, where the game was either too easy or too hard. It couldn't manage to hit that sweet spot, which I can acknowledge is very hard to pull off. So my point is, this game is mainly for players who want to dip their toes in the extraction genre, which kind of limits the audience for this game, especially when it is so well executed. Sure, it has its flaws, but as a whole, I had a great experience. If I hadn't already no-lifed the extraction genre, I'm certain I would have played this game for longer. But putting that aside, let me tell you about the optimization. I gave it another 7 out of 10. There's not much to say here. The game is pretty well optimized to run on most PCs. The recommended GPU is a 1660 Ti, which is the lowest GPU I've heard people have nowadays. But if you have a worse GPU than this, Hunt Showdown. This game is one of the most underrated games I have ever played. If I could buy all of you a copy, I would. Because how the fuck is this game not popular? Answer me, Black Jesus! I'm sorry, but if you're looking for a game to play and have money to spare, buy this game right now. Because oh my god, Hunt Showdown is like sex for your ears. Imagine the best thing you have ever felt in your life. Now imagine that feeling, but in your ears. Yes, it's that good. And so, I gave it a fun rating of 9 out of 10, and I'll explain the one point I took away. But first, let me tell you what the game is. Hunt Showdown is an extraction shooter based in the 1800s, but everything is corrupted with weird evil stuff, and you're fighting all this evil in mesmerizing backwaters. And your goal is to hunt and collect the bounties of these twisted and evil bosses and make it out alive. But there's a twist. Once you kill and collect these bounties, you, the hunter, now becomes the hunted. Because every other hunter in these backwaters is hungry and desperate for these bounties. So now you must fight all of the evil and the hunters to win and get out of there. Because if you die, you lose everything you worked so hard for. And that's Hunt Showdown. Well, you don't lose everything. In this game, you don't build a hideout or a personal stash. You build a character. The more you survive and the more bounties you collect, the better rewards you get that directly impact your character. Like XP, which levels you up and gives you access to better weapons and throwables. But more importantly, you earn trait points for that specific character. Traits are the most important thing you need to level up your character. Each trait grants a specific skill and costs a certain amount of trait points to equip. But you can have multiple skills on the same character. So the more you survive, the stronger your character gets, which gives you even higher chances of survival. And even though the chance to survive may be high, it's not 100%. So if you end up dying, your character is gone forever, along with all the traits and gear you equipped on them. So now you create another and go hunting again. This is the core loop of Hunt Showdown, and it's so extremely addicting because it's perfect for casual players that can't play games all day. I would have given it a perfect 10, but the game is extremely hard for solo. It's not unplayable, but it's not the most fun. And for those thinking it's a skill issue, I used to be a 5-star solo hunter, which is the second highest rank in the game. But after some updates, the game became even more unforgiving for solos. So I highly recommend playing as a duo or a trio. But let's move past that and talk about the price to quality, which I think is an 8 out of 10. And let me explain why. In most of the areas, the quality is fucking orgasmic, but there are some things where the quality goes down the drain. First, the good stuff. Sound. Oh my lord. This game has the best, and I'm not fucking kidding here, the best sound design I have ever experienced in any game ever. And I've been gaming for a long time. I'm telling you, if you play one match with a good pair of headphones on, you're going to jizz your pants. It's that good. And if you don't believe me, maybe these words would make you believe me. The game is made on CryEngine, the same engine Crysis 3 was made on. So these guys know their shit. You have to experience it for yourself to understand what I'm trying to say. The sound design is godly. The only game that has ever come close to the sound design is Raiders, but we'll talk about that later. The maps and gunplay are also elite. With 2 or 3 maps always in rotation and multiple variations of the same map, you experience something different in every single run, and it can vary from nighttime to rain to foggy days. It's all really well done, and this, along with the 80s style weapons, creates a very unique identity for the game. You have your normal guns like rifles and pistols, but there are also weapons like bows and crossbows, but also some very fun to play melee weapons. With all of these things, you will always have something to experiment with. But where this game falls short is the servers and the UI, which are absolute poo. These two are the only bad things I can list about Hunt Showdown, which says a lot about how well made this game is. But when it comes to the servers, if you're not in one of the major cities of the world, the game is almost unplayable. The small amount of lag spikes and ping issues have led me to lose fights that I should have won 100%. But instead, I end up trading with the enemy, meaning we both kill each other, because by the time my shot registers, the lower ping enemy gets the time to take a shot at me, and we both end up dying. And as a solo, that's an awful feeling. And even if you put that aside, one of my major gripes about this game is the UI, which feels like it's being made by a toddler on meth. Why do the devs keep changing the UI every few major updates is beyond me. And it keeps getting worse. It is very annoying to navigate the menus and create a character with your choice of loadouts, and is in no way friendly to newer players. I have over 100 hours in the game, and I still keep getting lost in the menus. If they can manage to fix the UI and the servers and start marketing this game, it would get so much love. And somewhere they managed to get some love from me is in the optimization, which I'll give an 8 out of 10. The game feels smooth as fuck if you're not having server issues. I've gotten some of my friends to hop on the game, and let me tell you that some of them legit game on a baked potato, and they managed to hit a constant 60 FPS. Most of them were only annoyed by the servers. The minimum required GPU is an Nvidia 1650 Super, which seems to be the most common one amongst these games, and the recommended one is a 2060 Super. So the game should run pretty smooth on lower end PCs on medium or low settings. And trust me, even on those settings, the game does not lose its quality. So you're golden. And on the topic of golden, let's talk about the golden game of the year that will redefine extraction shooters, my beloved Raiders. Raiders is the unicorn of multiplayer gaming. I can't believe how good the game and Embark, the company behind the game, is. This has been the most unique and addicting multiplayer game I have played in the last 10 years, and I'm actually at a loss of words. Or rather, there are so many things to say that I'm gonna make a separate video just for Raiders. And without any second thoughts, fun, 10 out of 10. Optimization, 10 out of 10. And for price to quality, I was originally gonna give a 9 out of 10 because of 2 major issues. But as of today, 13th of November, not only have these issues been resolved, but we also got a major content update. So price to quality is also a 10 out of 10. This is the only game I have ever given a perfect score. I was trying to avoid giving a game a perfect score, but fuck me. By the time I managed to find any problems in the game, Embark Studios had the solution waiting for me on a platter. Now let's talk fun, which I gave a 10 out of 10. Raiders is a PvPvE game that is made for casual and somewhat hardcore gamers. The AI in the game is hard enough that you cannot ignore it, but not so annoying annoying that it takes over the PvP aspect of the game. They managed to find a perfect balance. And as for PvP, it's almost perfect. Most people are scared of starting the game and thinking they would 100% lose a fight against a more geared player with better weapons. But that's not the case. The weapons are so evenly balanced that even an endgame player can be annihilated by a newbie with the weakest weapons. It's all about mental warfare. The game rewards players that implement strategy and other tactics in their gameplay rather than just mechanical skill. So if you can't aim well but can think fast, you're golden. And if you can't do either, map design. The maps are so well thought out. You never feel like you got killed because of a badly placed object. Every single object on the map has been looked at and made with intention. So if you're dying, you know it's your fault. But looking away from all this, let me tell you about the atmosphere of the game. The weather systems, the smoke from your guns when you fire too much, the Ark talking to each other with weird beeps, the art design, and the sound. Oh my god, the sound design. All of these are so and are made to immerse you in this world ruled by machines called the Rust Belt. Especially the sound design. It is almost on par with Hunt Showdown. Everything just sounds right. The alien machines sound like alien machines. The guns sound like they have been made from scratch. The map you spawn in have their own unique sounds that just fit so well. When you fight indoors, every step and every gunshot has an echo. It is unbelievably good. And I've been using the word a lot while describing this game. Unbelievable. Because everything else multiplayer in the last 10 years has been absolute poo. Especially for people that have a life but still enjoy multiplayer games. So if you have a job or only have 1 or 2 hours to play, this game is made for you. I'm not kidding. You are the target audience. I have friends who would never in their right mind think about playing extraction shooters or even any new multiplayer game, but even they fell in love with Raiders. It is the game of the year for me, and this is what the future of gaming should be like. I'll stop the fun part here, otherwise the video will become 30 minutes long and just about Raiders. So let's talk about price to quality, which is also a 10 out of 10. So originally, I was going to give it a 9 out of 10 for mainly 2 reasons. Playing as a duo was a very bad experience because you got matched with trios every time. And also, the price of cosmetics was very high for a $40 game. And the gaming community voiced their opinions about this, and holy God bless Embark Studios. Just today, on the 13th of November, they released an update that prioritizes matching duos with other duos, and they have reduced the price of cosmetics. And for those people that have already bought the expensive cosmetics, they will refund the difference back to them. And wait, not only this, but they just added a new map, new Ark enemies, new weapons, quests, and events. Legit, like, what the fuck, Embark? It has only been 2 weeks. Don't you just want to sex this company? Alright, let me chill and tell you about the things before this update. The game launched with 4 maps. All of them, each one is very different, and your playstyle will change from map to map. But also, they have map conditions like night raids, electric storms, hidden bunker, launch tower loot, and so many others which will keep you engaged for a long time. I am almost 100 hours in, and I can't wait to play again. You don't know how much I have procrastinated this video because of Raiders. The quality of the menus and the UI is user-friendly for both PC and console players, and it is surprisingly not shit. The servers might need a little work because I've seen a lot of desync clips, but I think that's mostly in the Europe region. I have yet to experience it in Asian servers. And even with this constant yellow ping indicator, I have never felt that I lost a fight because of the servers. The one weird thing about Asian servers though is we have purple blood, which is very weird. I personally feel that they shouldn't censor blood for everyone in Asia just because of a few regions. But all of these are just minor issues that I'm sure will get fixed along the line. All in all, the game is well worth your money. Hell, I bought the deluxe edition of the game. And I never buy deluxe or ultimate editions of a game, especially when it's purely cosmetics. And that says a lot about Raiders. But let's not get too excited and keep talking about this game because it is very hard to stop. Optimization was also another 10 out of 10, and it is fully deserved for a game this big and ambitious with so much content and chaos happening at the same time. To have a minimum required GPU as a 1050 Ti is fucking insane. Even the recommended is an RTX 2070, on which I am sure the game will run super smooth on the highest setting. I used to game on an RTX 2070 when the game was in Tech Test 2, and according to Embark, was not fully optimized for lower end PCs, which felt like a lie. Even at that point, my game was getting 150-ish FPS at 1440p and epic settings. And this was when, according to them, the game was not optimized? What the fuck? I have upgraded since then. But if any of you brothers out there with a 3070 or 2070 graphics card can let me know in the comments how much FPS you're getting on your settings, I would appreciate that. I would also appreciate if you would gently graze that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 3000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you. What I don't appreciate though are the price tags on this next game. Escape from Tarkov. Oh, I used to love this game so much. I'm so sad to see what it has become. The potential for Escape from Tarkov is so high, but the execution is absolute horseshit. But it still has a small place in my heart because there is no game like it. What is not small though is this insane pricing. And for those of you saying, oh, the base game is $40 and not $100, you just might be brainwashed by a gaming company and should try meditating to reflect on your opinions. Otherwise, I can link an emergency helpline in the description for you. Feel free to check it out. But moving on to fun, which I have to give a 9 out of 10. If I can forget all the problems this game has for a few hours, it becomes an extremely fun game. Escape from Tarkov was the first extraction shooter to hit the gaming market. The only thing remotely close to it was the Dark Zone in Division 1. But that was only alive for a few months and left a major itch in gamers that only another extraction game could relieve. And that game was Escape from Tarkov. It has been in beta for 10 years now, and there were moments where the game felt almost perfect. For me, that was around 2019, which felt like the best time to play this game. I know a lot of people will question me calling this game fun, but hear me out. There is no game out there that is an FPS hardcore extraction shooter fully focused on making the game as realistic as possible. They might not have delivered on their promises, but it is one of a kind. You have to manage everything from your food, ammo, weapon durability, armor, watch out for AI, and battle real-life players at the same time. And when you do get shot, you can die in just one bullet. So every decision you make will have a consequence. And when you do get hit, you have to figure out what type of damage you have taken and how to fix it, like a fracture on your left arm, or bleeding on your right foot. And all of this creates really tense life and death situations that you must manage on your own. There is no map, no HUD, and you get no directions. You don't know if your teammate is actually your teammate or an enemy. And when you're a new player, it feels like standing naked in the middle of a war zone. And I understand that for a majority of people, mostly those with jobs, this sounds like a chore. But there is an audience that really itches for these tense, realistic scenarios. But, and it's a big but, all of this comes with a grain of salt. The studio behind Tarkov, Battle States Games, or BSG for short, had a really big vision when they started out with this game. But they faced two major hurdles that destroyed this vision: cheaters and their own greed. And because of that, I gave the price to quality a 2 out of 10, which still feels like a lot more points than they deserve. This is being generous when talking about quality in Tarkov. First, let's talk about pricing. The standard edition is $40. In this, you get basic starter items and a 2-slot safe container. Then there used to be something beta container thingy in the middle, which was useless. And then the last one was $100 Edge of Darkness edition. These were the different prices when I last played the game. Now there is fuck knows how many, but it doesn't matter because if you're not buying the most expensive one, you're fucked. It is pay to win because the more money you pay, the bigger your safe container is. And there is no justifying this at all. For those of you who don't know what a safe container is, it's a small bag where you put any item and it won't get lost even if you die. So if I have 5 items in my inventory and I put 2 of them in the safe container and somebody kills me, those 2 items will safely come back with me to my stash, while the other 3 items will be lost. Now, if you paid $40, you get a 2-slot safe container. But if you paid $100, you get a 9-slot safe container. So you tell me if that is pay to win or not. there is no justification for this because I have played the game for over 1500 hours on the standard edition and I know how fucking valuable that 9-slot gamma container is. And this was when there were only 3 editions of the game. Now there are 4 or 5 I think, and one of them is $250 fucking dollars. And holy shit, I just checked on their website that you only get the 9-slot container if you pay $250. What the fuck? And the base game is $50 and not $40. Oof. When I started making this video, the pricing was different. Did they up the prices because of 1.0 release? That is fucking hilarious. And let me talk about 1.0. The only reason this game is coming out of beta is because BSG is fucking tired of their own game. If you were there to listen to the visions of the lead dev, Nikita, you would be laughing like me at the state of the game. The promises he made were the size of the sun, and the delivery on those promises are the size of a basketball. The original vision of the game died when BSG started earning more money than they could handle. And I could talk about this for hours, but let me move on to an even bigger issue. Hackers and cheaters. The innovation for cheating in this game is insane. I have died in ways that you cannot imagine were possible. And BSG does not give a fuck about it because it is so easy to hack in this game. There are multiple interviews with Tarkov hackers and all of them say one thing. It's so easy to make cheats for this game, and I know it's true because when I was in university, there were at least 2 or 3 people making cheats for Tarkov as a side gig, which made me extremely angry because I used to play this game during that time. And when I asked them why they did it, all of them gave me the same answer. It is super easy to make cheats for this game and they sell for a lot of money. And this was coming from a first year university student. You need so much willpower to play this game because even with all of this knowledge, you try to enjoy this game, but then you are hit with the actual quality of the game and the AI, which is unsurprisingly also shit. If you see the game from the outside, it looks very realistic. But when you actually play the game, you realize there is not a donut of realism in this game. The only real thing you will experience is your emotions when you die. So basically, Escape from Tarkov is just a torture simulator. And hey, if that's your thing, I'm not judging. And again, I can talk about these problems for hours. So let's move on to the optimization, which is a 4 out of 10. It's just also very shit. And these are the final scores of all the extraction games. I highly suggest trying out the top 2 ones. These games will make you fall in love with the genre. What will make me fall in love with you is if you subscribe. Thanks for watching. See ya.